Namaskar. First of all, I'd like to pay my respects to Holiness Shri Hari Prasad Ji for giving me the honor of presenting this at your peace conference. I am no important person. I am N for nobody. My journey has been to understand who we are, why we are in such turmoil in this society, and if you really want the tree that you have in your garden to flourish, what is the best way? To nourish the roots. It's only when you nourish the roots. So, my journey started 22 years ago on this line. I want to thank Dr. Anuradha Ganeshan ji for giving me a second opportunity to be at this very, very sacred and auspicious center of knowledge. And I heard with great interest speakers from yesterday. I would request Lata ji to join me. I want to begin by just making a small submission. I have a visual challenge. Number one, I grew up in Calcutta and studied in an Irish school and college. So I was deprived of learning Sanskrit very well, whatever little I could do. And we all know that Sanskrit words have a lot of energy. So if they are recited properly, we all benefit from that sound energy. And that is what the Saraswati's Veena represents, that energy takes the world round. So I'm requesting her, she will be reading that. Since my topic is about the relationship between peace and justice, with a special reference to ancient texts and to the Mahabharata, a few incidents, I'd like to say a few words about the great misperception about the word Mahabharata. I'm sure 99.9% of the people here, the moment I say Mahabharata, say, oh, that book of war. Let me tell you, 1 lakh shlokas, just about 8,800 odd shlokas, tell us the story of what happened at the field of Kurukshetra. So number one, Maha does not mean war. Number two, Bharata does not mean war. Bharata comes from two words, Bharata. The light, Bha is light of knowledge, and Ratha is the charioteer. So the name Mahabharata actually means the story of that land of a continuous charioteer of knowledge. And of course also, this name was acquired by the family that ruled and established the dharma of how Bharata will be the knowledge of light in the world. So we know the word Maha. So please do not think that I'm going to talk about the war. Yes, I'm going to talk about justice and peace. Second thing about education was said yesterday very well. Our Honorable President said that peace is just not a necessity, it is our responsibility. And everybody has said that it starts with yourself, it starts with education. So now I'm going to take you through in a very short way. First, I'll read a few pages on what is peace and justice in terms of ancient civilization, with then two examples from the Mahabharata, the story of the great land, and then I will take you through the important references that tell us the root from which we learned that truth is justice, and justice and peace are two sides of the same coin. So, so just bear with me because I said I have a visual challenge, so I'll be using my magnifier to just read out a few things. With that introduction, one more liner has to be given, one given has to be given. I'm talking about a time when there was no religion. Bharata believed in spirituality. We believe that every human being, every living being is a spiritual being. The words religion have come in at a much later stage in this world. So the moment we each realize that we have a spiritual connection, not with man and man only, but man and nature, man and the Brahmand, the celestial beings, then I think we will be achieving and understanding what our seers have said about justice and peace. To understand the turmoils that are happening in society and how to solve them, we have to first understand the nature and the relationship between justice and peace. In ancient Bharata, the principles of justice and peace were the two sides of the same coin. Unlike modern justice system, ancient justice system came through the words of God. It was a divine knowledge, just like the divine knowledge that we have about our Vedic and other Itihasa. Bharata's ethos always stressed on a harmonious and smooth society, and it also said dharma or duties were actually practiced on an individual level. So today everybody said, yesterday everybody said, peace begins from the individual. And they had been talking about it centuries ago. So individually, no matter what my belief is, I may believe in Ganesh, I may believe in Ram, I may believe in Krishna, I may believe in anything. I may believe in just praying to a tree. I may believe in just going and praying to Ganga. But it will begin from the individual at the social level, and that is what led to peace. The value systems prevailed across Bharat, across Southeast Asia, and let me share my little research. I come from the land of Panchal. We have documented proof that the kings of Panchal were intellectuals, and they had centers of learning. Of course, I think most of you who have studied Sanskrit would know that the Karmakand, the Upanishads, how the Vedas will be written, the Ayurvedic Charak Samhita, hundreds of books of knowledge were there, came from there, from that land. And important thing was the king would say, this knowledge of the Brahman, this knowledge of nature's relationship to man has to be percolated across the world. So they trained people not in thousands, but in lakhs, and sent them across the world. So I think if we understand this simple little facts that we have it all, the knowledge is with us, all we have to do is revive and understand. The value systems prevailed across Southeast Asia. Our ancient system evolved over centuries and laid down rules where every living being was actually equal. We call rivers Ma. Why? Because we consider them as living beings. Rules and responsibility lay with each to the extent that even the king was subject to the same laws. There was no differentiation between any humans. Breaking of the established norms led to turmoil, and it was the responsibility of the king to deliver justice. Failure of the king to pronounce any unbiased judgments was unthinkable, because it was known to him that if he is unjust, the curse will fall on him also. Friends, we are living in a world which we finally know is circular. Now we don't say that it's a flat world. So whatever goes round comes back. Whatever you do will come back. We also know now that there is something called gravity. So if you throw a flower, flower will fall on your head. And if you throw a stone, stone will fall on your head. So nature teaches us simple things of how to be good. Do good, good will come back to you. Be peaceful with you, spread the word of peace, as he very nicely said, peace will come back to you. Dharma or the righteous conduct had to be followed. Now what happens when dharma is not followed? Then our seers tell us, yada
yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutthanam tadatmanam srijamyaham.
So the karmic principle, the circular aspect of life and time has been embedded in our philosophy. So whenever there is a breakage of dharma, it is the responsibility of the superior God, the superior king who rules the earth, who rules the Brahmand, to come down and settle it. And again, comes back to this. You have the right to your action, but not to the fruits of your action. Why I'm saying this, I'll explain when we explain this rule, justice and this thing. Yes.
Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhoh ma te sangostva karmani.
So I explained already what Bharata means. Since time immemorial, are documented words of wisdom in the ancient Bharata sacred texts of Itihasa. Yes, please, some problem? And they are embedded in our Vedic Gyan Vigyan. Friends, all knowledge in the Vedas is actually science, is actually Vigyan. We have been actually deprived of knowing that science. We have been taught our Sanskrit texts only as literature and philosophy, not as the science, not as the Itihas, and not as the geography. So if you go back into these texts, you will realize what you have missed. Look at it from a different perspective. While the Vedic knowledge texts enunciate the science of the universe and the relation between man and man and nature and the universe, the derivatives of the various concepts of a meaning of life are the deep results of the philosophical understanding by our seers, understanding of the Brahmand and of the living beings that are influence each other, influenced through the Brahman. As I said, we believe that there is an energy, there is a source which we call Shakti. We also call it Atman, that connects each of us. Special focus comes to the two concepts that now I will talk about in terms of peace and justice. One is, of course, everybody talks about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is not only for man, humanity, it is for our relationship with the whole universe. So we are a family of all types of living beings, and I think all of us who know a little bit about Sanatan philosophy know that we go through a cycle and we acquire different forms of life till we reach the ultimate point where we actually merge with the Supreme and we attain moksha. Could you repeat that?
Ayam nijah paro vetti ganana laghu chetasam udara charitanam tu vasudha eva kutumbakam.
So this shlok is one from the Maha Upanishad. It is of the moral value of the Bharatiya knowledge system, which has guided all social and personal life of Bharatiya people at every level. Every festival, if you analyze, every ritual, every tradition that you analyze is based on nature cycle. Because we go and revere nature to take them as a part of our family. This Maha-Upanishad thought extends further, of course, that they go on to say that about detachment, that we just repeated the shloka, that there is, do your karma but be detached. Further explains the detachment with one's actions and material things, implying that the principle that peace within will emanate when you are able to control your desires, when from understanding of the Maya. You know, there are young friends here. I want you all to, this evening, search the net for 3 things that have been recognized the world over. In 2022, physics Nobel Prize was given to somebody. You have to find the name, and whoever gives you the name first, give them a prize. That what we see in this world is not the real world. Okay, the whole concept of Maya is getting realized. Another prize was given, Nobel Peace Prize 2 years earlier, to the concept of fasting. Why we should fast 24 times in a year. And the third important thing, recently there has been a study how plants interact and talk to each other through different root systems. And we all know about the green fingers. Some people have a great affinity to plants. I'm just trying to stress that peace is linked to every aspect. Today there is a great climate control, big hawa. You know, carbon credits, this and that. What have we done? Have we not disturbed the peace of the earth? When we have disturbed the peace of the earth, we have taken away the water resources. Won't we be fighting about water soon? We are already fighting about energy. So peace is not limited to the humans between humans. Peace is limited to the whole world and everything that the world has been gifted by the superior God, who's common. Sun is common to all. Moon is common to all. All the planets are common to all. All the plants are common to all. And we all are responsible for what we do to them and how we suffer because of them. And then we try to do property related, like, oh, this area is very green, I must have this. This is not the nice area, you take that. This is what I'm going to tell you about the Mahabharata example. So it's one's relation to and duty to the material earthy world has gradually actually eroded our sense of peace and understanding of justice. All those rulers who exemplified detachment, sacrifice, and brought about justice are revered. Ram is revered for his Ram Raj. He said, the rule that I set, and if one person is saying that you have set the rule and you have to follow, I will follow. And he follows the rule. So we revere Krishna because he also stood up to fight for justice. He had no reason to be there. It's not his kingdom that was being taken away. It was the kingdom of somebody else. But he stood up to fight for justice. And that is why throughout ages, we remember Harishchandra, because for truth. However, these concepts that we are talking about, frankly speaking, like the type of the knowledge, what is this? Sorry. However, the concept like any type of knowledge seeps in one's actions and behavior only from childhood. So that happens, as I said, education. If you know about our system, the 16 sanskaras, 16 sanskar jo hote hain. The first sanskar is when a baby is conceived. The first sanskar happens because they know the moment a child is conceived, from that time the child starts absorbing the energy around, positive energy, negative, whatever. So we have been so scientific in our understanding. The Vedic sciences have deep karmic principles and explain the process even of the cycle of the births and rebirths, as I just said. But in fact, the Bharatiya sacred books even tell us about, as I said, the life of a child when it is conceived. But unfortunately today, the Bharatiya Vedic Gyan Vigyan considers the spirit or the Atma, I've already said, but one has to absorb these philosophies and to be able to decode the concepts. The Vasudeva Kutumbakam philosophy gets activated and complemented by now the second important 4 principles given by Krishna, the 4 Purushastra, that we have to do dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Now, dharma actually controls the artha and the kama. We all talked about principles. What is dharma? Dharma is truth. What is the truth? The truth is that we are all beings from the same source of nature. The moment we realize that, all differences will go. As he said, your God, my God, his God, that God. No. God is one. God is nature. So, dharma, no action, no earth. If you acquire economic wealth in an unjust way, you are not actually following dharma. So, you will be punished. Some way or the other, you will be punished. So, dharma, in simple terms, are principles, the parameters, the rules and regulations that have been ruled out for action or for karma. And artha is, of course, the economic and finally, people, once you go through this cycle, you will achieve. See, moksha is not just dying and being there. Moksha is this detachment from your actions. Moksha means I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied, I have done my best. When you go to an exam and you've done your best, you're happy. Whatever result will come, that will come. So you have to be ready to accept whatever is there. Evolution of the enunciation of concepts of justice leading to peace and full coexistence from Vedic to Dwapar. We'll just go through a little bit of this, and then I'll come to the main 2 examples which we have to go because I think the time limit is there. Unfortunately, today, everybody thinks that these ideas, these philosophies of karma, of rebirth, of being connected to nature is something for the rishis to sit in the Himalayas and meditate upon. It is not for us. And that's where the challenge is. The children have to understand, he very nicely said, my previous speaker, programmed. Our seers programmed our minds to understand who we are and what is the truth. The truth is that we are a being of the nature. And what we have to do, we have to live through this life with good karma, maximum good for maximum people, and without any attachment to anything, go back to the circle for which we have, as per our karma, we will go back. So with the advent of social media, today, of course, the people are still, again, the whole worlds are actually gaining a lot of publicity about these creating some, conditions too of understanding, but it will take a lot of time. And if we people understand that it is not something for the Himalayan people, it is for us. So kartavya is very important, responsibility is important, and unless you do your kartavya and responsibility, nothing will actually give you satisfaction. And when you're not satisfied, you will create turmoil within yourself, and when you create turmoil within yourself, it will be in the family, and it just percolates. Unique features. Now, I'll just give 2 examples from the Mahabharata. People always talk about the Mahabharata being, I have taken a picture by Raja Ravi Verma on this important aspect. The epic focuses on dharma, of course, and duties and righteousness, and the moral order guiding the characters. 5 more minutes, I'll just finish. And unique feature, of course, of Mahabharata, I'll just finish in 2 minutes, actually. So can you just show the next slide of the Raja Ravi Verma? Yes. Krishna goes as an envoy of peace. So people ask me, okay, you're talking about peace, but why did he fight? Why if he went for peace? Duryodhan's father was not the rightful king. He was a caretaker king. So Duryodhan, technically, as per rules and regulations, had no right to ask for the kingdom. Yet, Bhishma Pitama and Vidur said, okay, now that he is part of the family, let us decide who is the better king. Because Bharata Vansha said, the one who is better will be the king. And Duryodhan loses. And of course, he plays the trick of sending them to the exile. In spite of 13 years of struggle in exile, Krishna still takes the last chance and says, peace is prime. Come back and be just. Give them some land. But no, it was not done. When finally they got that land, he was so jealous that he started eyeing, and he used a very dirty trick. The biggest strength of the weakest man is to target a woman. And he targeted Draupadi, and the whole scene, you know what happened. And there was no other way but to get justice, not only for that woman, but for all women. They should not be targets. Justice for the Pandavas because they were just, but they were being denied justice. And so, justice and peace, as I said, he fought for peace. But the book ends with Shanti Parva. And there's a very beautiful shlokas. Now they're telling about time, so I think I will tell you just about justice. How Draupadi was the first woman, stood up in the court of Dhritarashtra and asked for justice. She says, what right do my husbands have to pawn me? Because I'm not their property. And then she does not take a bhiksha, takes the land back. No, I will suffer. But I am just putting up the cause that the injustice has been done. And the Bhagavad Gita is a fantastic example how Krishna, actually Draupadi is the source, the inspiration of the Bhagavad Gita, which nobody thinks about. When Arjun lays down the arms and says, I will not fight, they are my own people. What does he remember? I had given word to my Sakha that justice will be done. And for that justice, I have to ensure that Arjuna takes up the fight. And that's how the Bhagavad Gita was an inspirational, inspirational and knowledge lecture to him. Now, I'll just take you through some of the shlokas from Manusmriti, from other Upanishads. Can you just go one by one on the shlokas so that people know how deep? Do you want me to do the translation?
Manusmriti.
Manusmriti, just 2 shlokas and 2 from the other so that we can finish that. So Manusmriti says, patience, forgiveness, self-control, non-stealing, purity, control of the senses, wisdom, knowledge, truthfulness, and non-anger are some of the characteristics of dharma. Can you?
Kshamadamosteyam shaucham indriya nigraha dhir vidya satyam akrodha dashakam dharma lakshanam.
In a system where injustice, the person who's injustice approaches the king, and if the king does not deliver justice, he is also a blame. I mean, the blame falls on him also. He is a part of that injustice. Second one.
Dharmo vidhastva dharmena sabham yatropatishthate shalyam chasya na krintanti vidhastatra sabhasadah.
Just two more shlokas, I'll say this. When justice is destroyed by injustice or truth by untruth, and it's left unattended by judges looking the other way and ignoring it, they also will eventually get annihilated. So this is again from the Manusmriti. And then it's the next one. Then violation of justice destroys the governance. Prevention of justice is to preserve it. Therefore, it is imperative not to destroy justice. Let injustice destroy you. Next, you want to read this? Then there is Kautilya's Arthashastra, which has just 2 more shlokas. You don't read Kautilya's?
Kautilya. Yeah. That's it.
Kautilya.
Yeah.
Say that.
Shall I read?
Just read the 2. Just 2 more. 2 more.
अत्र सत्ये स्थितो धर्मो व्यवहारस्तु रक्षिषु चरित्रं संग्रहे पुंसां राज्ञामाज्ञातु शासनं राज्ञस्वधर्मस्वर्गाय प्रजाधर्मेण रक्षितुः असक्षितुर्वोक्षेपतुर्वा मिथ्यादण्डमवोऽन्यथा.
So the truth is the base of dharma, and it prevails over the whole world. And evidence is, of course, provided by the witness, and charitra, behavior. All these formulate a part of the system. And of course, there are many, many shlokas. We have Upanishads. You can just go through the slides. Anybody wants to see? Ramayana and Bhagavad Puran. All these are talking about the same thing. Truth is justice. What is truth? Truth is we are an energy, we are a part of nature, and we are all one in nature. And just one last thing, I'm sorry I'm going again. Yesterday there was little dispute about the word Atithi Deva Bhava. Atithi means somebody who's come unannounced or without the previous information, without giving a dithi. Second aspect of Atithi, he is a guest for a temporary time. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. So talking about Atithi Deva Bhava, in terms of migrants, in terms of people who have sort of come in different ways and flooded any country, is a very wrong, it's not reference to the right context. So thank you so much. I'm sorry I took away some of your time.